The Legend of La Sucia. Welcome to Days. Our narrator intends to recall a frightening account of a scary creature from the spirit world that has been observed in various places in Central America. In Honduras, there are many stories of people's experiences of supernatural phenomena. One story, however, is the most famous, as many have experienced the thrilling that the effect of meeting that being has on people. In Honduras is one of the most famous ghost story, Saga La Sucia. This spectrum image is said to be hanging rural areas, especially near rivers or desolation. She is described as a beautiful woman from a distance, often was washed clothes on the river or walking alone at night. However, as people approach it, she reveals a horrific face of her head-heading or grotesque decaying vision and release blood cells. The story often serves as a precaution and warns people, especially faithful or careless men, of the consequences of immoral behavior. La Sucia is said to include themes of fraud, heartfelt, and revenge, which makes it a cooling image in the Honduran legends. In addition to La Sucia, Hondurans have a strong cultural relationship with the supernatural. La Sucia strikes the greatest fear of her unpredictability and creepy settings on her appearance. Deep-rooted faith in the country and spirit and supernatural parties means that many people take these stories seriously, avoid well-known haunted areas, and respect traditions to keep breath in control. La Sucia is not just a ghost. It is a reflection of societal fears and moral lessons that are woven in Honduran culture. Give our storyteller the word. But among other words, have you locked the front door? Maybe you should. You never know what can happen.
The Legend of La Sucia, a haunting tale from the heart of Honduras. In the quiet countryside of Honduras, where the rivers flow freely and the dense forests echo with the calls of nocturnal creatures, there exists a story so chilling it sends shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. La Sucia, the Filthy One, is not just a tale whispered to scare children. It is a legend that lingers in the air, in the rushing waters, and in the deep shadows of the night. For centuries, this vengeful specter has haunted the riversides and lonely paths of Honduras, her cries piercing the stillness of the dark. Her story, rooted in betrayal, heartbreak, and an unrelenting thirst for vengeance, serves as both a cautionary tale and a terrifying reminder of the consequences of unresolved grief and sin. The origin of the curse. Long ago, in a small, sun-dappled village nestled near a winding river, there lived a young woman named Susanna. Known for her unparalleled beauty, she was adored by all who saw her. Her laughter was like music, and her eyes sparkled like the sun on the water. Men vied for her attention, but Susanna's heart belonged to a humble farmhand named Ramon. Ramon, however, was not as noble as Susanna believed. While he initially seemed devoted to her, his ambition grew beyond their simple love. Soon, he was enticed by the wealth and status of a landowner's daughter, a woman who promised him a life of luxury. Ramon's betrayal was calculated. He continued to meet Susanna by the river, whispering sweet lies, even as he planned his future with another. One fateful night, Susanna discovered the truth. Her heart shattered into pieces, and her despair turned into a tempest of grief and fury. Unable to bear the betrayal, she ran to the riverbank where they had once shared their happiest moments. With tears streaming down her face, she cursed Ramon and swore vengeance. What emerged from the waters that night was no longer Susanna. Twisted by her grief and anger, she became La Sucia, a spirit cursed to wander the earth, forever bound to the places where love had deceived her. Her once radiant face was now a grotesque mask of decay, Her long black hair hung in filthy, tangled strands, and her once bright eyes burned like embers in the sockets of a skull. From afar, she retained an illusion of beauty, a spectral figure that beckoned travelers with her enchanting silhouette and soft, sorrowful voice. But those who came close were met with horror, a face of rot and despair, and a scream so harrowing it could freeze blood in the veins. The stories of encounters with La Sucia are as numerous as they are terrifying. One evening, a man named Esteban was walking home from a neighboring village after a late night of drinking and gambling. As he stumbled along the riverbank, he saw a woman kneeling by the water, her figure illuminated by the pale moonlight. She appeared to be washing clothes, her movements slow and deliberate. "Señorita, do you need assistance?" Esteban called, his voice slurred. The woman paused but did not turn. Instead, she gestured for him to come closer. Compelled by curiosity and emboldened by his drunkenness, Esteban approached. When he was just a few feet away, the woman turned her face toward him. What he saw would haunt him for the rest of his life. Her skin was peeling and blackened, her eyes hollow and glowing with a sinister light. Her mouth twisted into a scream that seemed to split the very fabric of the night. Esteban ran, his heart pounding as her wails followed him. When he reached the safety of the village, his hair had turned stark white, and he could barely speak of what he had seen. The Lover's Warning. Another chilling account involves a young man named Diego, who was known for his unfaithful ways. One night, after leaving the home of a married woman, he encountered a beautiful figure walking along the road. Thinking she was another potential conquest, Diego followed her, calling out flirtatious remarks. The woman stopped and turned to face him, her long hair falling away to reveal a face of unimaginable horror. Her skeletal hands reached out toward him, and before he could escape, she let out a piercing cry that left him paralyzed. He was found the next morning, babbling incoherently, unable to speak of what had happened without bursting into tears. A ghostly warning and moral tale. The legend of La Sucia is not merely a tale to frighten. It carries a strong moral warning. In Honduran folklore, she is seen as a punisher of deceit, particularly targeting unfaithful men or those who exploit women. Her appearances serve as a grim reminder of the consequences of betrayal, dishonesty, and immoral behavior. She is also a symbol of unresolved grief and the destructive power of unhealed emotional wounds. Those who see her are forced to confront their own guilt and fears, often leaving them shaken to the core. The haunting presence of La Sucia. To this day, La Sucia is said to haunt rivers, lonely roads, and desolate paths throughout Honduras. Her cries can sometimes be heard at night, echoing through the forests and valleys, sending chills down the spines of those who dare to listen. Travelers are warned to avoid these areas after dark, for fear of encountering her and being subjected to her wrath. Some claim that her presence is strongest during the rainy season, when rivers swell and the land is shrouded in mist. Others believe that she is drawn to those whose hearts are heavy with guilt, her cries serving as a mirror to their own internal torment. Facing the fear. While the legend of La Sucia inspires terror, it also carries a deeper message about the importance of confronting one's fears and seeking forgiveness. Her story reminds us that unaddressed pain and resentment can transform into something monstrous, consuming not only the individual but also those around them. In the end, Sucia is a reflection of humanity's struggles with love, loss, and morality. She is a ghostly reminder that actions have consequences and that the choices we make can echo far beyond our understanding. Conclusion: the eternal cry. The rivers of Honduras continue to flow, carrying with them whispers of Sucia's lament. She remains an enduring figure in Honduran folklore, her story passed down through generations as both a warning and a haunting testament to the darker sides of human nature. When the night falls and the air grows still, those who wander near the rivers are reminded of her presence. They tread carefully, for Sucia waits in the shadows, her cries mingling with the sound of rushing water. She is not just a ghost, but a symbol of the emotions that bind us all: grief, love, and the unrelenting need for redemption. To encounter Sucia is to face one's deepest fears, to confront the specter of guilt, and to feel the chilling touch of a story that will never truly die. For as long as the rivers flow and the moonlight shines, Sucia will haunt the land, her sorrowful wail, a reminder that some stories are written not just in words, but in the echoes of the human heart.
By the river's edge, where the moonlight meets, a shadow lingers where sorrow sleeps. Her beauty once a radiant flame, now whispers only her cursed name. Her heart was pure, her love so true, till betrayal's hand broke it in two. She cried to the night, a vengeful call, and sank to the river, curse and all. Sucia, Sucia, her wail chills the air. A ghost of the river, beware if you dare. Her face a mask of pain and despair. Sucia, Sucia, forever she's there. Through tangled woods and misty streams, she walks the paths of broken dreams. A veil of beauty hides her face, until you're trapped in her dark embrace. Her touch is cold, her voice a plea, a cry for love that can never be. For those who wander near her shore, she'll steal your soul forevermore. Sucia, her wail chills the air. A ghost of the river, beware if you dare. Her face a mask of pain and despair. Sucia, forever she's there. Forgive her pain, forgive her cries, a broken heart beneath the lies. The grief she bears is not her own, but all who've left love seeds unsown. The river flows, her tale remains, a haunting curse through time's refrains. For every heart that's turned to stone, she walks the night forever alone. Sucia, her wail chills the air. A ghost of the river, beware if you dare. Her face a mask of pain and despair. Sucia, forever she's there. So tread with care where and shadows dance beneath moonbeam. For in the night her voice will sing a tale of love unsuspecting.